morning, everybody. Back to Abbotsford, British Columbia, bright and early. What day is it, Rob?
Friday.
The 24th. This is my early morning watering session. At this time of year, I only water roughly once a day. I keep an eye on things to make sure that nothing's wilting. I either water it first thing in the morning or in the evening before I go to bed. I prefer to do it in the morning. And just a note, we try to keep this room at an even 70 degrees Fahrenheit. If you need a conversion for Celsius,
It's roughly 20.
it's 20 degrees.
Humidity's around 50.
And by doing that, all the plants seem to be happy. So anyways, I use a spray water can. I will be investing in a larger one because our business is growing and I need a bigger one. But for now, and in this bucket is a kelp solution. I use the kelp solution for the first little while. Last 2 to 3 days I go straight water because you need to wash the kelp off. The kelp will not hurt anybody, but it could change the flavor of your product if it's left on the leaves. So I start, because I'm trying to not get a lot of water in my room, I do it this way, and I spray into my tray like this around the edges. And I give it a really good soaking at this time of year once a day. And then I turn my tray. And I do all 4 sides like this. Like I said, I can see what I'm putting in, so it gets a good soaking. Yeah, it is a bit time consuming, but you know what? This is my job. And honestly, I enjoy it. And the kelp solution, they say that microgreens and or sprouts, these are not sprouts, these are microgreens, but they say that they don't need any added nutrition. But I believe that, and I have found, I get a little better harvest and healthier plants with the kelp. The kelp is said to reduce mold problems. And as I'm watering, you can see I've done the sides, so I don't need to do the sides now. And when I do spray the sides, if you see where my tip of my wand is, it gets into about this far because you're spraying into the plant. So I only have to do the center like so. And as you can see, the little holes that we have had are starting to fill in. They won't fill in completely, and the problem is I didn't pack the seeds in there, and some of them pulled out with my my weight and my cover. So that's all there is to doing that one. This is our kohlrabi. We planted it on November 18th. This is day 6. I see about 4 to 5 more days of growing. I should be ready then. Kohlrabi is a little bit slower growing product, so it could take a little bit more than the 4 to 5 days, but I'm guessing at the rate of growth, 4 to 5 days will be good to harvest. And that's actually a 10-day product then, 10 to 11 days. And now we're going to pull down the green peas. And actually, I've been talking about the little tendrils, and if you get a close-up shot, Rob, you can actually see the tendrils starting to form. They're coming up at the tops. These little hair-like things on them are actually the tendrils. You can see them. They're just the finest little looking things, and they're so pretty. There's a good one right there. I don't know if you can get it with my finger there. Right there at the top. There's a pretty tendril starting there. So yeah, these are the green peas.
I just want to add another thing about the kelp. It's all natural. We get it from mom's seeds. It's a concentrate where you mix it with water. We don't use any fertilizers or any type of things like that. The kelp is just strictly used to boost the germination and the seed, and then it doesn't affect the flavor. It's a boost, all natural. So.
And so actually, if you get a close-up of this tray too, Rob, inside here, as I said before, like up on top if you could, as I said before, I put a very thin layer of dirt on top of all of my seed. But as you can see, when I say thin layer, you can still see the seed in some places through that dirt. That's okay, because you don't need the dirt. I use it to help keep water in, help keep the plants settled more into the tray, and reduce mold, and I find it works really well. But if you have a few of the plants poking the seed poking up, that's okay, because you really don't even need the dirt, but it does make for a healthier crop, I find.
Yeah, and it really helps with any mold or anything.
So yeah, again, same thing. I've pumped up my water, and I start spraying. And I turn my bin. This is just an empty container that I put a towel over to absorb any off spray, because you're trying to keep the humidity down in your room, and by doing that with this, you're not leaving any water behind, and then you just hang the towel up to dry and it's all good to go. Peas at this stage are easy to water because you don't have a thick top layer on them. These were we started soaking these ones on November 17th. And it's the 25th today, I think we said.
24th.
24th. My bad. I get to work at home. I don't always pay attention to the calendar unless I'm writing it down on a piece of paper. I like working at home, by the way, people. And back to the middle now. Give my thing a little pump. If you get a close-up, you can see how the water just drips down off of the plants. I don't know if you can see it in the film. But you spray the plant and the water does run down, and that happens also when you have a really thick top, like you saw the kohlrabi was pretty thick on top. It will run down. The fan is highly important at this stage, because when you do have the thicker top and you spray it, the water does tend to stay in it longer. So you do need the fans going so that the excess water dries up faster on the plants. When you don't need the kelp, we like to use the kelp. Just find it gives it a little bit more. And again, I watch the water as it pools down on top of the dirt, and I know that there's a good soaking in there, and we're done.
And that's it. That's all we wanted to show you. We noticed there's a lot of people just starting out that are not sure if they're watering too much. They're overwatering. What we do is we have two trays. We use two trays on the bottom. One's got holes in it, and the other one's a solid tray. So if we do water too much, the water can drain out to the bottom, and you can always dump it out if need be, but at least you know you can water it all you want, and it gets enough water. So,
one comment is the wheatgrass is going to be harvested in the next day or two. So I this morning put a plain water in my jug, and I watered the wheatgrass with plain water. So for today and tomorrow, the wheatgrass will be watered with straight water. Those were planted on the same day, but you can see there is a height difference. They've had the same environment, they've had the same amount of light, but during the germination stage, the one on the bottom tends, because it's got a little bit heavier weight on it, because you've got things piled on top of it, so you not only have the weight of the top wheatgrass tray, you have the weight of the weight tray. So there's more weight on the bottom tray, which often leads to your product being a little less growing. If you wanted to, you can leave that one for an extra day and you would end up getting the same amount out of it. I find that the height difference doesn't make a huge difference in my yield as far as the wheat juice goes once you extract the juice from the grass. And Rob probably has something to say about lights, and I'm off now because we're going to close this one down and I'm going to plant some wheatgrass and do a different video.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Sandra said. On the wheatgrass, we're getting anywhere from, what is it, Sandra, 8 to 10 ounces of juice?
8 to 9.
Yeah, between 8 and 10 ounces of wheatgrass juice per 10 by 20 tray. So that's pretty good. That's a good average.
We're getting 10 to 11 ounces of actual grass.
So I thought I'd show you real quick the lights we use. There seems to be a lot of light questions. I'll just grab the box here carefully. So this is a 39 watt full spectrum high output grow light. It's 3 feet long. So we just like to use the best products that we can find, you know. This is a name brand. We're not paid for any of this advertising, but it's just education is all it is. People often ask us, you know, what type of lights we have, you know, what do we use. So yeah, just another thing to add. So yeah, check us out on Facebook, see our microgreens. Our website is designerfoods.ca. We're also on YouTube. Sandra's on YouTube under the Crafty Urban Farmer. Again, that's Crafty Urban Farmer. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.